Post-stroke recovery monitoring using both PP and MAP, number 1408, October 28, 2025. Gerald C. EclaireMD Foundation. Category, Methodology. Preface. My recent stroke was the result of my long history of type 2 diabetes. During the first 20 years, from 1990 to 2009, I relied entirely on prescribed medications while continuing an unhealthy lifestyle. That period contributed to about 91% of the total cause of my recent stroke. Starting in 2010, after suffering from my kidney crisis, I decided to change my approach completely. I stopped all medications and focused entirely on lifestyle adjustments. Over the following 16 years, from 2010 to 2025, I lost 50 pounds of body weight, BMI, reduced from 32 to 25, and my average daily glucose, EAG, dropped from 300 mg per deciliter, hemoglobin A1c, 12%, to 126 mg per deciliter, hemoglobin A1c 6%. This second period contributed only 9% to my recent stroke cause. Pathophysiological mechanism: how diabetes causes cerebral, microvessel calcification, glycation and oxidative stress. Chronic high glucose leads to glycation of vascular wall proteins, damaging endothelial cells and smooth muscle layers. Endothelial dysfunction: damaged endothelium loses its ability to produce nitric oxide, leading to local hypoxia and inflammation. Calcium deposition: these inflamed and degenerated vessel walls attract calcium phosphate deposits. Similar to bone mineralization, loss of vessel elasticity. Over time, these calcium deposits stiffen the small arteries, making them brittle and unable to cushion pulsatile pressure. This process forms the foundation of microvascular calcification, which occurred in my case. On September 11, 2925, when I saw many bright white spots on my brain CT scan after my stroke, I immediately realized that my long years of uncontrolled diabetes had caused this condition. The chronic high glucose had slowly damaged and calcified my cerebral microvessels over time. The acute hypertension at 175 mm of mercury I experienced on that day, June 21, 2925, was only a trigger, the final push, that caused this particular hemorrhagic stroke. This situation is similar to a bridge that has been crossed by heavy trucks every day, creating countless tiny cracks within the concrete structure that are invisible to the naked eye. After years of such hidden damage, when a powerful storm or flood finally strikes, the weakened bridge collapses. I have never been a chronic hypertension patient. However, I do have a quick, short, and hot temper. On June 21, 2025, during a real estate transaction, I became emotionally upset and my systolic blood pressure, SBP, suddenly surged to 175 mm of mercury, triggering a hemorrhagic stroke in the pons area at the back of my brain. I was hospitalized for 1 week. After discharge, I wanted to detect any future hypertension surges early to prevent a second stroke. Therefore, I began measuring my blood pressure about 20 times a day, roughly every 1.5 hours during the daytime, on both my right upper arm and wrist, especially after emotional stress or exercise. Each measurement included 5 data points: SBP, DBP, HR, PP, and MAP. The calculations are as follows. PP is SBP minus DBP. MAP is DBP plus PP divided by 3. The diagram below shows my actual recorded and calculated results for both PP and MAP. During the 4-month recovery period, results and interpretation. Over the past 4 months after my stroke, I have closely monitored my blood pressure to track my vascular recovery. Among all indicators, mean arterial pressure, MAP, and pulse pressure, PP, provide the clearest understanding of how well my brain and blood vessels are functioning. My mean arterial pressure, MAP. My average MAP during this period was 84.14 mm of mercury, ranging from 74 to 92 mm of mercury. This level is excellent for my age, 79, and stage of recovery 4 months after stroke. It means my brain, heart, and kidneys have been receiving a stable and sufficient supply of both oxygen and nutrients. The small daily fluctuations are normal and even desirable, showing that my circulation remains active rather than rigid. Maintaining MAP around 85 mm of mercury helps keep cerebral perfusion stable, which is critical for neuroplastic healing, the brain's ability to reorganize and recover after stroke. During the first month after my stroke, both my PP and MAP went up and down more than in the later 3 months. This showed that my blood flow and vessel control were still unstable. My brain and arteries were trying to adjust after the injury. As time went on, my body slowly regained better control, and both PP and MAP became steadier, showing new recovery of normal blood flow. My pulse pressure, PP, my average PP was 44.49 mm of mercury, ranging from 36 to 55 mm of mercury. This is a very healthy range. It indicates that my arteries remain elastic and not overly stiff. The mild day-to-day variation is a positive sign. showing that my blood vessels are responsive and functioning dynamically, rather than becoming hardened or fatigued. Keeping pp below 60 mm of mercury helps minimize mechanical stress on my blood vessels, especially in the brain. This reduces the risk of another stroke or vessel rupture. How I interpret them together. I use pp to evaluate the vessel elasticity and general health of my arteries. It reflects the probability of vascular failure. I use MAP to measure how effectively my system delivers oxygen and nutrients. It reflects the quality of recovery and perfusion stability. Together, they give me a clear, comprehensive picture. pp nearly equals vessel elasticity, health and stroke probability. MAP nearly equals recovery condition and oxygen supply quality. In summary, my current averages, MAP around 84 and pp around 44, indicate that my cardiovascular system is stable, and my brain is getting enough oxygen without putting too much strain on my arteries. My scientific reflection. From the perspective of my viscoplastic medicine theory, VMT, without a real data analysis of strain-stress interaction, energy calculations, this 4-month data pattern already shows that my vascular system has reached a new adaptive equilibrium. My MAP strain energy has stabilized around 85, while my pp stress energy remains around 45, far below the critical threshold of 60. This means my body has regained viscoplastic flexibility, the ability of my blood vessels to expand and contract smoothly without permanent damage. My conclusion: by continuously monitoring pp and MAP, I can clearly see that my post-stroke recovery is progressing in the right direction. Both values remain in the optimal zone, indicating strong blood flow and stable oxygen delivery to the brain. In simple terms, my arteries are flexible, my circulation is steady, and my body has entered a balanced, self-healing phase. Disclaimer: I write this paper not for fame, but to share what I have learned so others can understand their health, prevent disease, and live longer, healthier lives. This content is for educational reference only and not medical advice. No doctor-patient relationship is created. You may share this summary freely, but it must not be altered, edited, or republished as your own. All intellectual property rights and copyrights for this article and its related materials belong to the author, Gerald C.